What is going on, boomers and zoomers? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm bringing you guys another Jump Force video. Now previously I was working on a video where I talk about what a season 2 of Jump Force DLC could look like if it were to happen. However, it has been implied that we're getting more DLC for Jump Force in 2020, which I'll explain in a bit. I've kind of changed the message of that video ever so slightly in accordance with this new information, so I don't have much to say here, so let's just get into the video. So at the end of the collective trailers for Grimmjow and Law, the final two DLC characters, Bandai showed us a message saying the fight continues in 2020. Here's the clip for that. Now this doesn't actually reveal anything other than the fact that something is happening for Jump Force in 2020. Personally, I do believe that this means we'll get more DLC because it seems just a little too hyped up to just be continued support and free updates. Couple this with some earlier leaks about new files in the game which appear to be for new character slots, and it just aligns too perfectly. I was a person who was absolutely sold on the fact that Jump Force would not get a second round of DLC. However, I will happily splash some cash for some new characters since I love this game so much. Unfortunately, there's a high likelihood that we will not be receiving 9 new characters with this year of content. The leaks I mentioned earlier imply that we will get 4 or 5 new characters, but we don't actually know any of them. So let's look at how Bandai might choose to approach a Season 2 of DLC. So for the first round of DLC, we received 9 characters, none of whom represented any anime or manga that wasn't already in the game. This creates the question, will Bandai introduce any new series in Season 2? I think this is extremely unlikely despite the fan requests for certain characters, particularly Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Personally, I don't mind sticking with the series already present in the game. One thing I am slightly skeptical about is the number of new characters we could receive. In the first year, we received all of the boss characters as playable characters, several new avatar exclusive abilities, and the 9 scheduled characters. If in the second year we only get 4 or 5 new characters and a few new avatar abilities, content could feel far more scarce than ever. We're going to continue this video under the assumption that we'll be receiving a second season pass featuring 5 new characters from series already in the game. Now one of the bigger questions on everyone's mind should be who are we going to get, and is the big 3 going to be represented? When I say the big 3, I'm talking about Dragon Ball, Naruto and One Piece. I just had to point it out because I know that some people may refer to Bleach instead of Dragon Ball. Originally I assumed Season 2 would mean 9 new characters, including 1 character from each of the big 3 and even another Bleach rep. However, if we're working on the assumption that there are only 5 new characters, then I don't think the big 3 or Bleach will get any new reps. So to finish off, I'm going to talk about my predictions for a Season 2 of DLC working under my previous guidelines. 5 new characters from series already in the game, excluding Bleach, Naruto, One Piece and Dragon Ball. Just for fun, however, I might make a second video where I discuss 9 potential candidates including the big 3 and Bleach. Anyway, let's get into predictions. These first 2 characters I am 99% sure are going to make it in. Firstly, Yuno from Black Clover. Yuno is a highly requested character from the community and I can see why. Black Clover is one of the biggest Shonen Jump series currently airing, and whether you love it or hate it for various reasons, you cannot ignore its success and appeal. On a personal list, I would also include Yuno. Despite Yuno being one of my lesser favourite characters from the show, there's a plethora of other characters I prefer more than him. It just doesn't feel right not having him in there. In a game with Asta, not having Yuno is like missing out on Sasuke, Vegeta, Aizen or Bakugo. It just doesn't feel right. As I said, I am very confident in this next character also making it in, and it's Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, I don't know how successful Yu Yu Hakusho actually is. I personally never heard of it prior to playing Jump Force, but from what I've gathered, this guy is not only one of the most highly requested characters up there with Yuno, but he's also the edgy rival type character of the series. In addition, he was playable in J-Stars, so I'm sure that does something to help him out. Whilst I don't know anything about this character, I would love to see him make it in, not only to please his wide fanbase, but also so I can learn a little bit more about him. It gets a little bit more tricky moving forward. I'm very confident in Yuno and Hiei regardless of what anyone says, so the remaining characters in this list prove more challenging. I think the likelihood of another JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character is fairly high, just based on the popularity of the series and how much hype surrounded Jotaro and Dio entering Jump Force. Giorno is possibly the most popular character from the series, excluding Jotaro and Dio, mostly because of memes. I believe Jump Force prioritizes a Japanese fanbase over a Western one, but I would personally prefer to see Jonathan or Joseph Joestar over Giorno. It's hard to pin down a specific character from the series who would be added, so I'm just going to go with Giorno here. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm still confident in JoJo getting another rep. So those are my first 3 predictions, and I 100% stand by Hiei, Yuno and another JoJo rep, although I'm not 100% confident with who that new rep could be. For the final two, I've struggled to strike a balance between pleasing fans of both new and old anime and balancing out the roster size of different shows. My next rep is Marek from Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm currently watching through Yu-Gi-Oh! Albeit very slowly, so I've yet to see this character in action. However, Marek gets a lot of requests because he's the third and final holder of the 3 Ancient God cards. Kaiba has Obelisk and Yuki has Slifer, so fans want the third to complete the set, which would look badass by the way. This pick I'm only 50% confident in. On the one hand, Marek is a fairly highly requested character and does fill a vital part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Roster in the direction that Jump Force is headed. However, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a show I can't fully agree with getting more than 2 reps despite its popularity. I feel like Marek is the only choice for a Yu-Gi-Oh! Rep, otherwise Bandai won't even bother. Sorry Joey, maybe another time. Now I'm very torn on the 5th and final character, but I'm confident that they'll come from this one series. Hunter x Hunter got a lot of love in Jump Force with 4 base characters and a 5th as DLC. I'm not completely sure of this, but I'm fairly confident that Hunter x Hunter is the other anime giant, bested only by the big 3 in Bleach. Maybe I'm completely misguided in that statement, but if that's the case, then I'm confident that Hunter x Hunter could get another character, especially considering that many outside of Japan aren't as big of fans as Bisky as they are Meruem, Illumi, Crollo or even Pito. If I had to pick a 6th and final character to represent Hunter x Hunter, I think it would be Illumi, just based on the fan popularity and current representation of Hunter x Hunter villains in Jump Force, although you could make a very strong point for Meruem. There's so many characters I think you could pick from Hunter x Hunter, so many that would be great as well. I feel like they would prioritize a villain over a hero though. Guys, that was a difficult list for me to think up. I'm definitely not well versed when it comes to Shonen Jump anime and manga, and I'm certainly not great at detecting patterns in roster choices like other people might be, so we'll just have to wait and see. Right now though, I think I've made a fairly solid list. To recap, the 5 characters are Yuno from Black Clover, Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, Marek from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Giorno from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Illumi from Hunter x Hunter. My confidence in Illumi and Marek are fairly low. They could be completely off, and whilst I'm confident in a new JoJo rep, I'm not 100% sold on any particular character. As I've already said, I'm very confident with Yuno and Hiei making it in. If they decide to add another Yu-Gi-Oh! Rep, I definitely think it'll be Marek, otherwise they won't even bother with that. And I am confident in another JoJo's rep, although I'm not sure who that might be. And same with Hunter x Hunter, I'm very confident in that show getting another rep. But again, I'm not quite sure who they might add. Illumi probably isn't the best choice in my opinion, although I do like the character. They're probably more likely to add someone like Meruem or even Pito, but we'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that. I'm thinking of making another video or 2 talking about Season 2 predictions and wish lists and things like that, so keep an eye out for that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to do it though, so we'll just have to wait and see. I possibly plan to discuss what new series Bandai could add, who from the big 3 could be added, and my personal fantasy wish list. Anyway guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.